AI can help you build a mobile app in days. It can also help you ship a security hole, a billing disaster, and a product nobody wants, just faster. So here's the stack I actually use, and more importantly, where I don't trust AI at all. Hi, welcome back, Marcin here. In this video I want to show you the AI tools I actually use when building mobile apps. Not the tools with the most hype, not the tools with the best marketing, just the ones I find useful at different stages of the process. Because I think this is where a lot of people get it wrong. They ask what's the best AI tool to build an app, but that's usually the wrong question. The better question is which tool helps you most at this stage of the work, and which decisions should you never fully delegate to AI. Building an app is not one job. It goes from idea through planning, design and development. And then there is all the risk that comes with shipping something real. And AI can absolutely help with all of that, but it does not help in the same way everywhere. Some tools help you think, some help you design, some help you code, and some are useful only if you already know what you are doing. So instead of giving you one best AI tool, I will show you the stack I would use depending on the situation and where I would be careful not to trust AI too much. And I think the best place to start is the part most people rush through, the idea itself. And that's exactly where I would start. Not with design, not with code, but with pressure testing the idea. At this stage, I would usually use tools like ChatGPT and Cloud, not because I think they are great business advisors, usually they are not. They are too easy to steer, they change their opinion too easily. And if you phrase the question differently, you can often get a very different answer. So I would never use AI here as proof that the idea is good. What I use it for is something else. I use it to find weak spots faster. For example, I will ask it questions like, what is unclear in this idea? What assumptions am I making? Which user segment probably doesn't care? What part of this sounds useful but it's not urgent enough for someone to pay for? That's where AI is actually helpful, not as a decision maker, more like a tool for creating friction. And one simple trick here is not to stop at one model. If ChatGPT gives you one take, copy that into Cloud and ask it to challenge it. Then take Cloud's answer and bring it back. Let them push against each other a bit. So for early thinking, AI is really useful. You just have to use it with a bit of distance, because if you use it for validation, it can mislead you. If you use it for pressure, it can be genuinely useful. And once you have done that, the next step is not design. It's turning the idea into something a bit more structured. This is another place where AI is helpful. Before I start thinking about screens or code, I want a rough spec. Not some huge product document, just enough structure to make better decisions. So here I will use AI to help me map out the first version of the app. What are the core features? What are the main user flows? Who are the users? What needs to happen in version 1? And what can clearly wait until later? For example, I might ask it to turn a rough idea into a simple feature list, or to outline the key user journey, or to point out missing edge cases in flow that sounds simple at first but actually isn't. And this matters because once the scope is a bit clearer, the next tools becomes much more useful too. Your design prompts gets better, your development prompts gets better as well, and you are much less likely to waste time generating polished nonsense. So before AI helped me make the app look real, I want it to help me make the idea clearer. And once the idea is clearer, then design starts to make a lot more sense. This is where I would use tools like Google Stitch or FlutterFlow Designer. And again, I don't think there is one universal winner. These tools change fast, and what works best often depends on the day and the project. So the way I think about these tools is very simple. I use them for exploration first, not for a perfect final design, not for a pixel perfect product, mainly to get from idea to something visible fast, because that's the real value. You stop imagining the product in your head and you start reacting to actual screens. Because sometimes the design tool gives you something that looks good, but instantly shows you that the app is doing too much. And sometimes it gives you something decent, but still useful enough to move conversation forward. So I treat AI design tools less like final designers and more like fast visual thinking tools. They help me to get a direction faster, and there is one small trick here that makes these tools much more useful. So instead of going straight into a design tool with a messy idea, I will first go to ChatGPT or Cloud and ask it to turn the idea into something much better. Something more structured, more specific, and easier for the next tool to work with. So this is one of the most useful habits in general. Don't just use AI to generate the thing. Use AI to improve the instruction before the generation happens. Because once your prompt gets sharper, every tool after that becomes more useful. And that brings us to the next part, actually building the app. Here I would say there are two main routes. One is using something like FlutterFlow with AI support. The other is building in Flutter with AI coding tool, helping you along the way. And both can make sense. It really depends on what you need more. Speed with more built-in structure or flexibility with more control. If I want to move fast, especially for an MVP, FlutterFlow can be a very good option because you are not just getting AI help, you are also getting the structure of the platform itself. So in a lot of cases, it's simply easier to go from idea to working product faster, especially if the app is relatively straightforward. A few main flows, standard logic, nothing too custom, too early. But if I am building directly in Flutter with AI support, that can also work really well, because then I have much more flexibility. I can shape the architecture more freely. I can handle custom behavior more easily, and I'm not working inside the limits of one builder. So this is not really a which one is better decision, it's more like a trade-off. FlutterFlow gives you more speed and more guardrails. Flutter with AI gives you more freedom but also more responsibility. And that part matters a lot more than people think, because the moment you move closer to the raw code, AI can help you build faster, but it can also help you create technical problems faster. And that's the part I would be really careful about. The more freedom AI gives you, the more responsibility stays on your side. Because when AI helps you generate code, it can absolutely save your time. But it does not take ownership of the consequences. If something is insecure, that's still your problem. If something is badly structured, that's still your problem. If some key leaks and somebody starts abusing your setup, that's still your bill. And this is where I think a lot of people get a bit too relaxed. They see working code, so they assume it's good code, but those are not the same thing, especially when you are generating backend logic, authentication flows, API integrations, cloud functions, or anything that touches permissions and billing. Because in those areas, one obvious mistake can become a real issue very fast. Sometimes it's security issue, sometimes it's cost issue, sometimes it's both. So if you are using AI in a more code-heavy setup, I do think you need more technical judgment around it, or at least someone experienced enough to review the risky parts. That doesn't mean AI is bad for development, not at all. It just means speed is not the only thing that matters. Because if AI helps you ship faster, but also helps you ship a hidden problem, that's not really a win. So for me, the rule is simple. Use AI to accelerate implementation, but do not outsource responsibility to it. So when people ask which AI tool they should use to build a mobile app, my answer is usually probably not just one, because the real value is not finding one magical tool. It's knowing which tool is useful for thinking, which one is useful for planning, which one is useful for design, and which one is useful for development. And just as important, it's knowing where AI should support your decisions and where it definitely should not replace them. Because AI can help you move faster, that part is true, but it can also help you make bad product, bad technical decisions, and expensive mistakes. So the goal is not just to use AI, the goal is to use it with the right expectations. Use it to challenge the idea, use it to structure the work, use it to explore the UI, use it to speed up implementation, but don't confuse speed with judgment. If you are not sure which parts of your app are safe to delegate to AI, drop a comment or DM me. Happy to take a look, so see you in the next video.